although I encourage real estate, I think it's, again, I 100% encourage it. I think it's fantastic for those that can get there, and I think you should strive and work to get there. But there is another way you can get into real estate without actually having to purchase the home. There is a strategy that's called wholesaling. And I'll write it down here, so I'll put it on the chat. But it's wholesale. Okay, so wholesaling is basically the contract to purchase the home without actually following through and buying the home. So I'll give you guys an example. Let's say, for example, RJ wanted to buy a house, and the house was $300,000. He went in there, he had to get pre-approved for the home and all these other things. You still needed to put down the money to buy the home. But you get the approval. The home is approved, and now it's as you hear it say, under contract, right? The home is actually under contract, which means it's ready to be sold, and it's already under contract. It's not for sale, etc. So this piece of paper, similar to what you would think like a stock option, this piece of paper gives you the right to buy that particular home. That's that paper. What you do is, since that home is already for sale, what you're doing is you're basically selling that contract to buy the home to somebody else. So now that individual has access to that home if they're willing to pay X amount of dollars. So, hey, with this contract, if you give me $15,000, I'll give you the contract, and then you get the home, and off you go. And so this is a way that you're basically moving property without actually purchasing the actual property. It's the contract to buy the property. So if you don't want to get into real estate, or if it's difficult for you to be able to do it because of resources and not able to get the money moving, you get under contract, and then you sell the actual contract to buy. You need it now. If you're, just for a pro tip for everybody, if you're on the other side of it looking to buy the property, you obviously want to check the specs. You want to know the ins and outs of the property and all the details. But you can actually, if you wanted to, if the deal makes sense, you could buy the contract and then get access to the home. So wholesaling is a great way to get into real estate and getting property without actually buying the property. And you can find places like Facebook. I know Facebook or Meta, or whatever they call it now. That's a place you can go see and start seeing examples. People sell contracts in those platforms. Hey, wholesale contract for sale. And look at it. See what the terms are. See what they're saying. See what the terms are, so you can kind of identify for yourself how it works. And then if you're interested in doing that, get involved, get a property under contract, and try selling the contract. The problem is that, remember, with a home, when you're selling a home or when you're buying a home, you have X amount of days to do the what?
Closing.
That's exactly right. Which means that the clock is ticking. You have to find somebody to pick up your contract before the closing, or you're on the hook for the home. So within that window, the key is to sell the contract, and then somebody else will pick up the home on closing.
Yeah, it's almost like it would be a good thing to do with somebody, like 2 or 3 people. So that way, if you do need to end up buying that house, you can, you don't take that big loss, because it's a big risk, obviously.
Yes.
You don't want to have your money be tied into the house if you truly don't want to buy, if you just want to flip it, do a quick flip. But yeah, that's something I just learned, man. I did not know about that. I know you can. We just talked about the puts and calls and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's kind of similar thing. I see what they're doing with
very
that.
similar. The other thing, actually, RJ, before we jump into the next one, we'll go back to fitness, and I give another alternative strategy for something else. But just because RJ brought it up is actually a great thing, and it'll go in conjunction with. If you want to get into real estate, another alternative strategy is not putting the burden on just you. Get a business partner. Go into business with somebody you trust. Now, the key is, and I'm going to preface this with somebody you trust. But if you get in with someone, you share the burden. You don't get all of you don't reap all the rewards. You share the rewards, but you also share the burden. So if you want to buy this property and the down payment is 60 grand, well, man, I don't got 60 grand. Man, I only have about 30. But if you got somebody, a confidant that you can work with, and they got the other 30, hey, I found a great deal. Let's go into business together. We'll share the cost together, and then we'll split the rewards on the other side together on the other side. So that's another way to get into real estate, not taking the burn on yourself. Get a business partner. So I think I just wanted to mention now, that's a great idea too.